Well, today I got something special in the shop. I have right here a box containing an open segment kit. It's from Chief Wear Kits. I'm going to unbox it. I'm going to assemble the parts and set it up in this video. And then in the next video, I am going to be using it to build a open segment turning. So, get started here. Actually, I've already opened it one time. And we've got the instructions here. I have read the instructions. They're well written, easy to understand. But then again, I've got an advantage there because I know what I'm looking for. So, let's see what we got inside here. Actually, I've got a kit with extra parts, so I can use it on almost any lathe because I would like to start doing demonstrations at different clubs if I can. Okay, here's the package for the table itself. Complete package here. We'll open it later and make sure all the parts are on it. Here's the package. It contains the locking mechanism. We'll open that later when we set up the locking mechanism. Let's set this aside. And I have 2 index wheels. Like I said, I want to start doing demonstrations at different clubs, so I got a wheel that'll fit any lathe. So I got 2 wheels here. We'll also set these aside. These are just the standard wheels, it looks like. One with a 1-inch center, one with a 1 1/4 inch center. And that looks like just about all of what's in here. Okay, get that box out of the way. I've already read the instruction sheet. And we're going to open this package with the table parts in it. Just grill them. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Aluminum angle for the edge. A block of wood for it. We got a plastic ruler that goes on it. We got this package here. We got a thank you for your business card here. We set that aside. And open this package. Hope I don't have to grill. Ah, the block that goes on the edge. Okay. Come on. Stop block, a piece to go on the bottom, Allen wrench, a lock collar, a screw, Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they're falling all over the place. 5, 6 screws, and the piece that goes into here and into your drill chuck. Okay, let's see what it says to do first. Shows all the parts here that we should have. 2-inch, 2.5 wood screws, 2-inch self-tapping screws, okay, and 2 other wood screws that go here. We've got a banjo post stop block, we've got a screw for the stop block, and we've got this piece. Okay. Looks like we've got all the parts. Now it shows how it goes. The aluminum angle flush with the edge of the tailstock block. Ruler sticky tape starts at the middle of the tailstock block and threaded pin on the end. Follow the above diagram to assemble a jig platform. Note, use the self-tapping screws to screw on the aluminum angle piece so that it is flush with the end of the tail block. Clean the aluminum angle piece and apply the self-sticky tape. Start at the ruler should be 1/2 the thickness of the tailstock block. Okay. So that looks good. Okay, here's the tailstock block with this piece that screws into the end. Hide the aluminum piece, Jacob chuck in the tailstock, okay. Alright. So, you can use this piece or you can use a different piece of stock if you want, hardwood or MDF, but it's important that it be 3/4 of an inch thick. Being 3/4 of an inch thick, when you bolt this on, it puts the top of the jig right at the center of this bolt, so it will be at the center level of the turning. And so that's why it's important that it be 3/4 of an inch thick. So, like I said, you can use other material if you want, but I'm going to use this. This should work well, no problem. See which side I want to use as the top. I'm going to use this side as the top. I'll put the aluminum here, and I'll put this piece here. So, let me put a mark on them ends. So over they go. The aluminum goes here, and the block goes here. So the first thing I'm going to do, fits like that, right there. I am going to just round this corner a little bit just to break off the sharpness. Then I'm going to put a layer of shellac over it just to help keep it clean. And I use shellac because it'll dry in about 2 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead, break that corner here, and put some shellac all over it. Okay, I've got a layer of shellac on it just to keep it clean. This is the top. This is the block that goes on the side. It goes on this side, right here. This is the top and this is the front. It's supposed to be flush with the front. So to make it flush with the front, I'm just going to set it down like this. And then it says to use the 2.5-inch wood screws to put it on. So I'm going to put in the 2.5-inch wood screws in here. I'm going to go ahead and put them in. The block is on the end now. And with these 2.5-inch screws, it's on there tight. It's not going anywhere. It's solid. And because I've held it down flush, it is flush with the front. Now, I've got to mount the aluminum strip right here. And I want the aluminum strip to be flush with the top. So what I'm going to do, using my table here, I'm going to clamp this to the table, top side down, and I'm going to clamp the aluminum strip to the table so that after I screw them, let me get this out of the way. So after I screw them down, they will be flush when I get done. And let's see where he said to put the aluminum strip. Okay, it says make it flush with the top edge. I'm going to make it run all the way to this end. Yeah, that'll give me plenty of room up here. So I'm going to make it flush with this end. And that's plenty up here. It's got to go to the center of that bolt, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and clamp these down and then put the 2 self-tapping screws in here. The end block is on, it's good and solid. The aluminum lip is on the front edge, screwed on. Actually, I had moved this screw in some, put this one close to the end, and it's flush with the top. Now the next thing I got to do is to put the guide strip in the middle of the bottom. So I'm going to measure halfway, and then I'm going to use a square to get it square. So first of all, I'm going to measure halfway and line it up. I've got it measured to the center. I put a couple of holes in it. Use my square to get it lined up. I'm going to have to use it on this side. Okay, get it lined up, put it right on the center. Don't have to be exactly center, I don't think. And put the screws in it and screw it down. That's these short screws here. There's 2 of them. I'm going to screw them down. Now I'll use filming all this screwing. Okay, now the instructions say to clean the aluminum and put on the plastic ruler so that the center of it is centered on this block, or the 0 spot of it rather, is centered on this block here. So what I'm going to do first is take some alcohol and clean it off. And then what I'm going to do is mark the center of that. Then I'm going to mount it on a lathe and put a center point in the headstock and check it and make sure that is center, which it should be. So first I'm going to clean it. Then I'm going to mark it and we'll take it over to the lathe and mount it. Okay, I've got my drill chuck mounted on it and tightened now. I'm going to put it in the tailstock. Bring it up. I've got my post with my lock collar. I've got it approximately set up. I don't know how close that is. Really don't make much difference for this test though. I'll put it in the tailstock, seat it well in, and I'll bring it up. Bring this up right now to this height. And then crank it in and check how close it is to the center here. I've got this, let me get this out. I've got this center point put in the headstock. So check, see how close that mark I made comes to the center point. It's right on it. And the table is level with the center. So we're good. Everything looks good here. Let me make a better mark now where that's at. I just made a very light mark there. Let me make a better mark right where the center's at. Okay, so that's where I want to put the center of that tape. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off and take it back over to the workstation. Okay, I cleaned the aluminum with alcohol. It's nice and clean. I put a mark right where the center is, right in the center of this block, which I checked it with the headstock and it comes up to the same spot. So this is good, right where it should be. Now I've got to put this tape right there so that the zero mark's right on that center line. So I'm going to do this. It might be a bit awkward, so I'm going to shut the camera down and put this on if I can. Okay, I've got the ruler on it. That stuff is super sticky. Be careful when you put it on. You've really only got one chance, so you got to get it right the first time. It is some kind of sticky. Once it touches the aluminum, it sticks. So, this piece here is ready to go. It's got inches and it's got centimeters if you prefer using centimeters to set it up. So now, I'm going to go ahead and we'll set up the index wheel and the locking system on the lathe. Okay, here's the parts for the lock assembly. The piece that sits on the ways, the piece that fits underneath, the bolt that holds it. Put the bolt through the piece underneath. Screw it all the way down. Get it screwed all the way down. Bolt goes up through here. The washer on it. Then the nut goes into the knob. We'll put the nut on it. That way we can seat the nut straight in the knob. Here we go. Then, the post that goes into the end of it. Quite tight, okay. Tighten it down, tighten the set screw down. That should hold that post tight. Now, let's set this in place temporarily. I don't know how much we'll have to adjust it, but we'll have to adjust it on the lathe. So, this clamps to the ways, and this goes to the lock on the index wheel. So first, let's mount the index wheel on the lathe. Got the smaller wheel I'm going to use. I've got the 1-inch adapter on here. I've actually got a cuff on my leg. It makes it difficult to mount the larger wheel here. I do have a larger wheel mounted in the back. I'm going to put the index wheel on. Now I've got a turning started. I got the bottom started and I got the segments cut. It's an open segment turning that I'm actually going to be doing with this in the next video. I've got it mounted on a chuck. So we're just going to put the chuck on. Tighten it down. That should do it, yeah, it's tight now. Now, the instructions say do not turn the lathe on with the index wheel mounted. Of course you don't, that's safety. But sooner or later I'm going to forget that it's mounted and turn the lathe on with it mounted. You know, just forget that it's there and do it. So what I'm going to do to reduce the danger somewhat, I'm going to take a piece of 100 grit sandpaper. See if I can find it here. Got some piece of 100 grit sandpaper here and a board to back it with. And I'm actually going to spin this thing up. And then I'm just going to sand the edge, rock it back and forth. And that smooths it up a little. So if I do accidentally run it up, and I do accidentally touch it when it's running up, it won't grab me with any burrs. Now, we've got the index wheel mounted. We have to mount the locking device. We've got it semi-set up. First thing we got to do is lock it to the ways. Using this clamp here. Now it don't have to sit straight. However, the pin has to sit straight. So we'll lock it right here temporarily. Now the instructions say to mount this behind the index wheel. Well, I need to be able to operate the pin. The pin pulls out and locks out, or it snaps in. So I need to be able to operate that when I'm putting them on. So I'm going to leave it on the front side. And I'm using the inner row of indexes for this turning. There's 48 indexes. It's going to be a 24 segment turning. I got half of them marked with a red spot and the other half unmarked. So now, let me see if I can line this up. Okay, we'll get that parallel with it, sort of. Get that right there. Put that in there, okay. Okay, lock this back down. Lock this down, make sure it's locked good. Okay, put the pin in one of the holes. Lock the 2 screws on the back of this. get the right wrench to do it. Okay. This is locked to the ways. Post is locked in here. This is locked on the post right at the center. And this don't have to be the exact center. The pin is in one of the holes, so if I pull it out and rotate it, I should be able to rotate this. Release it, and it rotates. I've got the index wheel set up now. I've got the lock system on, locked to the ways. The post, I got it on the back side as recommended. I got it set to the inside ring, which is 48 indexes, which I'm going to use for 24 segments per ring. I got half of them marked with red. Now, like I said, I got it on the back side like they recommend, but I'm sure it would work just as well on the front if you've got the room and you wanted it on the front. I don't know, but it should work just fine there. Now, I'm going to set up the gluing platform. The first thing I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do is set my post at approximately the right height. Put the lock ring on it. I'm going to take the drill bit chuck, put it in the tailstock, well seat it in the tailstock. Make sure it's well seated. I'm going to take the gluing platform, move the tailstock up, here, put the gluing platform in it, move it up to about an inch away from the turning. Tighten this down, hand tight right now, just hand tight. Then set this where it's level. Set the post where it's about level. I'm not going to put a level, I'm going to eyeball it level. Close enough. Lock it down. Then I'm going to lock the lock ring collar. Lock the lock collar down. So I can return that to the same spot. Then I'm going to position it right up next to the strip in the middle. Move it forward. So it's right in the middle, right there. Now I can return this to the same place every time after I take it off. Now I'm going to tighten the drill chuck. Tighten it down. Lock the tailstock. Use the quill to move it up. Right there's where I want it. Give me just enough room to glue on the segments. And then lock the quill. And I am ready to glue on segments. I need to put the stop block on there. I'm not real fond of the stop block that come with it, so what I'm going to do, I think, is use a piece of scrap wood and a couple of small clamps. But anyway, I'm ready to glue segments other than the stop block being set. And I got a ruler, so setting the stop block distance will be a piece of cake on this. This is the stop block that come with it. It's got a nylon screw on it, which will not mar the aluminum. And you can put it on here and tighten it down. But I'm not really fond of this stop block, and it don't have a notch in it. I called Craig, and he says he's working on a better stop block. So in the meantime, I could use my stop block on it, which has also got a nylon screw on the bottom. And I could put it on here. But I think what I'm going to do in the meantime is just take a thin piece of material. It's very thin, about 1/8 of an inch thick, and a couple of small clamps. And this will work just fine for now. No problem. A couple of small clamps will hold it in place and to hold it tight enough to work. So that's what I'm going to do in the meantime to build the first segmented bow with it. Well, I unboxed it, read the instructions, put it together. And I'm going to say the instructions were easy to follow, well written, but I helped make the instructions, so that really don't mean anything. As soon as somebody else reads these instructions and puts one together, then I'd like to hear feedback from them on whether they think instructions were easy enough to follow or not. And the finished product here looks much the same as my homemade one, but the finished product is made with a precision piece of machined aluminum on the end that assures it will always be on center. The fact is, if you remember on the video, after assembling it, I put it on and put a point in the center, and I brought the point up and it come out exactly, both vertical and horizontal, on center. So yes, this is basically the heart of the system. Well-made precision piece here. And we set up the index wheel, set up the index wheel locking system. I collaborated with Craig on this to make it possible for anybody wanting to do open segments to have the tools available. And at the same time, I got everything I need to do demonstrations on almost any lathe. So it's the Easy Open Segment Jig. That's what it's officially called. Like I said, I collaborated with Craig just so it would be available for people that want to do open segments. There's a real reason I make these videos is to get people interested in doing segmented and especially open segmented turnings, and to try and pass on what little knowledge I have. So there you have it. This is the Chief Ware Kit's open segmented kit. And like I said, it was easy enough to put together, very easy. And I'm going to make a video right now. I'm going to start another video on using it to build an open segmented turning. Now, I started in my last video to make two open segmented turnings just alike but with different woods. I finished one, but I still got the other one, so I'm going to use that and this to build it. So if you got any questions, email me. I'll leave my email here. And I thank you for watching and hope you come back and see my next video. Thank you.